So today I'm going to be showing you how to set up a dedicated router for Oculus Air Link, and the router I will be using is a TP-Link Archer C6. I'm using this router because it's the entry-level recommendation provided by the developer of Virtual Desktop, Kai Godin. And all you actually need, in addition to the router itself, is a Cat5 or Cat6 Ethernet cable, and there should be another cable in the package itself. So this here is my main router provided by the ISP. It's a wireless router, so there's no LAN cable coming in. I have this white Ethernet cable is plugged into an LAN socket and goes into the new router. So I have now already unpacked the new dedicated router, plugged it into a power cord, and as you can see, the Ethernet cable coming from my main router is added into the internet socket of the blue internet socket of the new router. I'm now going to connect the Ethernet cable from my laptop into one of the 4 Ethernet ports of the new router. And that should be pretty much it. After you have turned on the router and plugged in the Ethernet cables, you're going to see some green and orange lights flashing on the router. Wait for the flashing to complete as the router is setting itself up, and once you see solid green lights, you are ready to start configuring the router from the browser. You can find the router admin console URL or IP address in some cases from the router manual, and for my specific router it is TP-Link Wi-Fi.net, and once I open it you can see the login dialog, which we're going to proceed with. So let us set a password for our router admin console, and this password will be used from now on every time you want to access the router admin console. So be sure to memorize it. Okay, so we're gonna have to type it again to log in, and let's see what appears now. So this is the initial configuration screen of the router, and we are actually going to skip the quick setup dialog and move to the advanced options right away. And the first thing we want to do is change the operation mode from router to access point mode. If you are replacing your old router with the new one, then keep the router mode enabled. But if you will be using the new router along with the old router to extend the Wi-Fi network, then it's a good idea to change the mode to access point, and that is mainly to avoid double network address translation and various other configuration issues you might face. So let us choose the access point mode and click save. We're gonna proceed with the router restart. So now we have to wait until the mode change is applied. So a couple of minutes have passed, and it was able to successfully switch to access point mode. It now redirected me to login page. So let us log in again. And as you can see, there are now much fewer options. So we can assume that the access point mode has been indeed enabled. So next I'm going to disable the 2.4 gigahertz wireless network by removing the tick from here and setting hide. And we're only going to keep the 5 gigahertz wireless network, which is much more suitable for wireless PCVR streaming. So let's set up network name and set up a password, which I'm going to blank out later on. Select next and save. Now we have to wait again for the settings to be applied. And next we are going to want to further configure the 5 gigahertz wireless network we left enabled. And for that we go to the wireless and select wireless settings. So from here on we can see currently the 2.4 gigahertz wireless set, but what we want to do is go to the 5 gigahertz one. Here you can see the network name we assigned earlier. We can also see some security and encryption settings, which we are gonna leave unmodified. What we are going to change is the network mode. We are going to set it to 802.11 AC only. If you happen to have a Wi-Fi 6 router, set it to AX only. We are also going to change the channel width, which is basically the frequency range in which the configured network operates. And larger frequency range means higher throughput, which we definitely want for wireless VR streaming. So currently I'm gonna select 80 megahertz. The thing to keep in mind here is that if you live in a crowded apartment area, let's say, where there are lots of different Wi-Fi networks, you might have to settle with a lower channel width. To determine how crowded exactly your Wi-Fi area is and what channels are being used, you have to use a Wi-Fi scanner, and I'm going to show you an example of my nearby Wi-Fi networks next. So here I have used a software called Wi-Fi Scanner, which you can download which you will find using Google. And you can already see the network I have created here, and some other networks in the area. What we are interested in is the channel here. So you can see that currently it is automatically using channel 36, and there's no interference with other Wi-Fi networks. So in theory, we don't actually have to change the channel in the router settings. But if we did, we would want to select channel 6, 11, or 52. So now we're back in the router configuration window, and as could be seen from the Wi-Fi scanner, it was using 36, and actually all the other channels here in the list were free as well. I don't know, just to keep it on some specific channel, I'm gonna select 40, but it doesn't matter, I could have selected any one of these. And we're also gonna make sure that the transmit power is set to high, and that's it. Now all we have to do is save the settings. If you want more detailed explanation as to why any specific configuration was made, I have made a rather detailed article about fixing virtual desktop lagging issues. But since the principles are very much the same, the same reasoning and same techniques apply. So go ahead and check the links from the video description below and read if you're interested. I have also linked out to the router I'm using in the video, in case you're interested in getting one for yourself. I personally got it for about $40, and it has worked perfectly right out of the box, providing a solid low latency connection both for Oculus Air Link as well as virtual desktop. So based on my personal experience, I can definitely recommend it. And with that being said, it's time to wrap up. I hope this video is useful to you, and see you next time.